Us for the movie review and a few bit extra. Thank you. Welcome to part 5. This is the final part of the show, probably, depending on how we get on now. We have just finished the Marvel review, so before we get to the rating, we're just going to go through the bits we liked, bits we didn't like, and then we're going to talk about some fan theory, and then we will try and squeeze in hate shoots at the end as well. Okay.
I talked a lot, Dan.
Okay.
So you carry on, my dear. So, shall I ask you the question, the big question, I think, for everybody, especially those who have really seen this, and I've watched it now 5 times. Do you think they are dead?
No, not even for one moment. So, for me, in the cinema, I thought that, as I said in the last part, that it was brilliant that they killed the people off because it was very unexpected and not you didn't expect it to happen. So, what I thought was killing off Idris Elba at the start, killing off Loki and people pre-click. I don't think you'll see those people again. I could be completely wrong. It depends how they go about it. When Black Panther died, or turned to ash, that was the moment where I thought, there's not a chance in hell after the amount of money Black Panther has made.
Yeah.
He's really dead. So the real question for me isn't are they dead, it's how are they going to bring them back? So I've got a few little theories on it, and I know you've got some as well. Now, one that we didn't talk about before the show, which I've just thought about as we were going through this, is how to resurrect Groot. Okay, so without saying anything, would you have any way of resurrecting Groot not using an Infinity Stone, just off the top of your head? If not, that's fine.
I could plant his arm, what's left of his handle.
That is exactly correct. So you take it off Thor's axe and plant him, and then you've got Groot back again. He planted him with a stick in the first one, so why on earth wouldn't that work?
Yeah.
So that's Groot coming back. In terms of the rest of it, I would imagine it's got to be something along the lines of using the Time Stone, even though the gauntlet on Thanos looked pretty knackered by the end of it.
Yeah, because it did look melted, and I don't know how they're going to come back from
the
damage of that.
So you've got two options for me. You either go full back to the beginning of before Thanos had the first stone, which then would rewind time completely to the start of basically Guardians of the Galaxy, or you do it before the click. And I think that is more likely. I think you won't. I think Loki's probably gone. Although there is a fan theory, which we'll talk about in a moment, which was given to us by one of our listeners. That's what I think. I think that it will be pre-click. Everyone who died pre-click, so sadly that is Gamora, that is Vision, probably gone.
Okay, that's really cool. So my kind of theory on that then is I kind of have 2 odd theories. So theory 1 is the pre-clicks are dead. I think I can agree with you with that. It looked very real, it looked very gritty, and it happened.
It was a justified ending.
A justified ending for all of them. And the click deaths, I feel, because of what he has, so the stones and things like that, he has the soul stone and things. So I feel that if there's a possibility, especially Gamora, but we'll go into that because I appreciate she's a pre-click death, but they could be trapped in the soul stone. All their souls could be trapped in the soul stone. So that's one kind of way of looking at it. However, find it difficult to handle how we're going to get hold of the gauntlet was melted from watching the film, and it looked a bit knackered, so how do we get our hands back on the stone? He didn't seem to be he didn't have it on at the end scenes as well, so how do we go about finding it, and where is it all?
And at the same time, it's one of those things where he did manage to teleport, so it must still work. It just might be the fact that maybe it's only got one thing left in it. And again, so I would agree with that.
And then number 2 is maybe they're not all dead, because end of the day, we do have a time stone, so we can just reverse everything, like you said. So we could just start all over again.
and I suppose we had a difference of opinion on watching the film here, where the end scene where he cuts to Gamora as a child, you believe that's actually real. You believe that's real.
Yeah,
and
that's her. Him. That's her soul. But obviously, he prefer his first. What he likes about her is baby Gamora, isn't it? It's that first innocent child relationship that he had with her in the beginning, before he then adapted her and then she started to hate him. So yeah, I do believe that she is trapped in there because he put her there. Because end of the day, it says a soul for a soul. So somebody else's soul was in there, and that's how you know, that's how people get hold of this soul stone, is you have to put a soul in there to be able to wield that soul. So how do you, you know, like so, that play on it.
So that's Hannah's view on it. I mean, me personally, I have a different view, and for me, that is the director trying to justify, in Thanos' mind, justify himself to himself. So he is then talking to her in his own subconscious, justifying it to her, and then himself. So personally, either way, I wouldn't be upset with it. But that's just my own personal thought. Other things I liked. Sorry, is there any other?
Well, I was going to go on to then about, from a theory perspective with that, was we said about like reality. So we said, but what if then, if this isn't actually reality? So if we go back to when they were in nowhere, and we all thought the reality was he was chatting to the collector and he needed to go get the reality stone off him, when actually he had the reality stone afterwards, and nowhere was burning to the ground and he was fine. But once he left reality, so like Drax and Mantis returned to normal, didn't they? But now he's more powerful because he's got all of them. He can control reality on a more universal level. So my way of looking at it from another angle is, what if Thanos clicked his fingers and made the reality he wanted? So in Thanos' reality, until he decides he doesn't want it anymore, people are dead and half the universe is gone, and this is what has happened.
And then again, at the same time, for a different level of it, is maybe he is in control of it. And possibly at the same time, he's still, like he was with Gamora, just wanted to see what the reaction was going to be.
Yeah, and what if then we could say that he would sit there, he smiles, he agrees with it, but from my perspective it's really hard now, I'm going to do the comic book thing, but Thanos had an obsession with death. So death was a character in the comic book franchise. So in the comic books, he did all this and he went mad and he showed off how powerful he was, and he was a titan and he was a tyrant because he was showing off and showing death how powerful he was, and that's why he wanted to kill everybody and then go back and show her what he did. However, there is no death. There is no, that's not the reason. So the reason is the fact that he feels that he can better people's lives.
And sorry to cut you off, but for me, I prefer this storyline because, and I know this is probably just me being a mentalist,
it's fine.
I feel that this is a much more believable storyline to try and, because the best, they always say in wrestling that the best bad people always have an underlying of truth in what they say. And it's the same with any villain in any film or any TV show. If you can sort of understand, not the way, but if you can sort of understand what they're saying, it makes it worse, especially if you kind of agree with them. So it's like, for example, in this where he decides that he goes back to the universes there, he has done it, and they thrive, then he's kind of right. It's a horrible, horrible thing, but in a weird way, you look at it and go, he's kind of right, but you can't do that. That's not the way to do it.
Because he's a madman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I love that that's what they went with, because it kind of, in his head, he is completely justified in what he's doing. And in a lot of ways, like, we won't go into too much detail, but into like a lot of world leaders in the past that have made questionable decisions, in their head, they were right in what they were doing. And I like that they've kind of gone along that way.
Yeah, and actually used
realistic.
A real life scenario for, like, a scenario of what people believe in.
And again, we don't condone genocide.
We do not.
Don't commit genocide.
Do not.
It's bad.
But what we're saying is that seems, instead of showing off to death, this is his purpose now. So his purpose was to give the world back, isn't it? And to help the world by, sadly, killing everybody, which is like a madman's psyche. However, now he's done it. My argument then is the next bit, so the moving on is what happens next is, so are they all dead? Well, I don't know, because the issue is now is he's got no purpose. And I feel that now that he's stopped and he's got no outlook and I need to kill that, I need to get that stone, I need to do this, he's done it. So he sits down, he can probably appreciate it for about 10 minutes, maybe a day, maybe a year. And then what does he do? And then that might give him actual time and the grief of maybe losing Gamora, which is the only thing that he seemed to love, which is one of the biggest sacrifices he seems to have made. Is that enough for him to say, I don't like this reality?
Yeah. Maybe.
Where would that go with that? See?
So yeah, we'll move on a bit now from the fan theories.
Yeah.
We'll quickly go through a couple others. So I wanted to mention this one. When Loki gets killed,
Yes.
I've been sent this video. I've been told that I'm a madman because I can't see what they're seeing. There is a figure in the back of the shot where Loki is being held up by... So go back and watch the film if you want to. Loki has been held up by Thanos, and as he's being choked, you see in the background, it's definitely a figure. It's definitely someone. I don't know what it is. It's really, really blurry. You can't see it. Now, the fan theory that's come from this is that is Loki. That Loki, the decision he made, as I mentioned earlier, which was a very un-Loki-like decision to be stupid and try and stab him with a knife, wasn't Loki at all. It was somebody else. So that was just another one. So we quickly wanted to mention that.
Fan theory, that one. Very cheeky. And we are kind of... I'm really hoping that there is resurrections here, that we could have not just Loki, but we could have like the pre-clicks could be more of a resurrection perspective.
Yeah.
Vision's more of a ideal resurrection because he is a Mind Stone and he is a computer bot. He's a bot, isn't he?
In theory, his personality and his essence can live on in a computer.
Yeah.
So if Stark has any way of finding where Vision's gone,
he's like a mixture
he
of
was
Jarvis,
Ultron,
Bruce,
everyone.
Yeah. So that's like a maybe. There's a maybe.
And you
there.
also get the feeling that with Banner and Vision kind of being kept out of the fight in this one, you kind of feel like they're going to be a big part. So yeah, is there any other main... Before we move on, because I've got...
that's okay. Will Hulk have a part in the next one?
Yes, he bloody will.
Yeah.
He will not have any Hulk erectional dysfunction in the second one, and eventually it's going to end with him having a big part to play.
So we have to remember that Hulk is actually one of the most powerful Marvel characters in the universe.
Yeah.
So we have to remember that he's got a big part to play in all this.
He's got a massive
part to play in all this, but I did like the fact that he wasn't able to come out. It gave Banner more of an edge, so it's not just about Hulk. It gave Banner time to be Banner.
Plus, good to see Mark Ruffalo. He's
and
great.
we've had a lot of Hulk in Ragnarok, so that was very, very good. Going quickly now, so Siri... I think this is a good idea. Siri to take over the Black Panther role because he went to Ash. That was Dan's idea. I really like that. That's really good. What are those? That was really good. That's another like pop culture reference. It's a massive meme now as well. It's another pop culture reference that they've done as well. They've did What Are Those again. Tom Holland said that when his spider legs come out of his suit. What are those? Which is really good. What else we got here? Loki Resurrections. Yeah, so that's the big ones really that we've pointed out.
So the next part that I want to go on to just as we finish up on this is my big thing on this, and in any film review we would do, which I realise this one has been quite a long one, so thanks for sticking with us because it is a long film, so there's not really any way around it.
2 hours.
But the important thing for me in it isn't just the comedy, isn't just the action scenes. Acting is a big part of any film for me, and this is where I'm going to give my best acting parts in the film. So I know that before I give this, there was a couple of bits you didn't like in the film. So very quickly, what were the bits you didn't like?
Okay, so...
CGI was one.
Yeah, so definitely CGI. I feel a bit mean for doing that, really. But yeah, no, I have to admit, especially for Midnight, I think it's a bit of a shame because her, the lady who plays her, I can't remember her name, but the lady who plays her is actually quite a good actress. Says the person who can't remember her name. That looked really good, didn't it? But it was really poor CGI, considering the whole film is a massive CGI
Thanos
film.
was amazing.
Yeah, and Thanos was amazing. Even if his chin does look like testicles, it was
Peter Griffin chin.
Yeah, it was brilliant, and it's I think it's called stop motion like capture as well, like capture motion. It looked very Xboxy, and
it looked like a video game.
It looked a video game.
And
she didn't need to be that CGI, so that really annoyed me. We've already mentioned the unsmart Loki-ness. It wasn't very Loki-like. Say that when you've had a few Loki-like. And I just find that Strange has... This is just me making it a dig now, but Strange has time travel in his fingertips and he doesn't use it. And even Thanos even says to him, all these tricks and you had the most powerful thing and you haven't used it. And that's a bit of a point, isn't it? Yeah.
So yeah, very good points. I agree with those points. So yeah, the acting for me, I'm going to give out my MVPs for acting in the actual acting, not for like whatever. So this is proper acting now, serious stuff.
Serious stuff.
So firstly, Vision, absolutely brilliant. He's a fantastic actor. I've loved him since Wimbledon and The
I knew
Knight's
you were gonna
Tale.
say that.
Absolutely brilliant. When he had to purvey the